Hello again everyone, welcome back to ptet.chemistry channel. So this is a work 2 tutorial for this combined science environmental chemistry lectures, of which you can find in the associated playlist for this environmental chemistry. Now in this first question, this is a very straightforward question. It's just stating what is the approximate percentages of nitrogen and oxygen in dry air. So dry air basically is just the normal composition as stated in the syllabus, nitrogen of which is around 78%, oxygen of which is around 21%. When you add these two up together in a calculator, you still have 1% of other gases. The other gases include carbon dioxide, includes argon, includes etc. etc. Argon is just a noble gas. Okay. Now the percentage amounts of the same gases were measured in air from a crowded classroom. So when you have a lot of people inside the classroom, so people respire. So what is respiration? People respire, people will release carbon dioxide. And then there will be lesser oxygen because people will respire, respiration uses oxygen, and you burn your sugar, you burn your carbohydrates, and release carbon dioxide and water. So name, not give the formula, both of these are naming. Naming one gas whose percentage is higher in the air from a crowded classroom. As I mentioned, the crowded classroom will have more people who respire, therefore you will get a lot more carbon dioxide in a crowded classroom, and which is also the reason why in a crowded classroom the temperature is higher, it's hotter, because people, when they respire, you will emit heat, you will release heat, because respiration releases heat to the surrounding. Respiration is exothermic reactions, as that's what you have learned in the previous few topics. Now name the one gas whose percentage is lower in the air. There has got to be oxygen. As the people in the classroom, in the crowded classroom respire, you will have less oxygen and more carbon dioxide. In this next question, we're just completing the table about some atmospheric pollutants. These four: carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, methane, as well as gases from burning plastics. They are straight from the syllabus. As stated in the syllabus, Cambridge say candidate should be able to state the sources where they come from, as well as the harmful effects of the pollutant. How are they dangerous? And then where do they come from? From where? Okay, so we got to describe each and every one of these. Carbon dioxide comes from complete combustion. Complete combustion means you burn fossil fuels in excess oxygen. You have enough oxygen. When you don't have enough oxygen, you're going to produce monoxide. So this is called incomplete. So incomplete combustion when you don't have enough oxygen and you are also burning fossil fuels. So complete combustion give you carbon dioxide. Incomplete combustion give you carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is a toxic gas. It's poisonous, it can kill you, but the idea is that it's toxic or poisonous. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. So greenhouse effect is also coming from greenhouse gas. It can cause global warming. Global in this sense means around the world. Warming means the temperature of the earth increases. It's getting hotter and hotter every year as a result of greenhouse effect due to these greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide. Methane is another greenhouse gases, so it can cause greenhouse effect, and greenhouse effect can cause global warming. So you can say causes greenhouse effect or causes global warming is entirely okay. The gases from burning plastic is toxic or poisonous gas, so it's the same danger as release of carbon monoxide. Now, where does methane come from? So we know from our previous lecture tutorials that the methane comes from vegetable decay. So this is the decay or decomposition of vegetables. So when we grow vegetables and they decay, they can release methane gas. But you also have the waste gases from livestock. So animals that you rear for their meat, like chicken, like beef, like chicken, like cows, etc., etc. So waste gases from digestion in animals. So in countries that rear or that bring up a lot of these animals for the purpose of exporting their meat, they actually release a large amount of methane, which can cause greenhouse effect and can cause global warming. The whole earth is getting hotter and hotter as a result of more carbon dioxide, greenhouse gas, as a result of more methane, greenhouse gas there. Now the gases from burning plastics, obviously, they come from burning plastic. So obviously, that one is quite self-explanatory on its own, but we know burning plastic release toxic or poisonous gas. Okay, so it releases toxic or poisonous gas. That is the danger, the harmful effects of these pollutants here. That's it really, you get the 5 marks just like that in your pocket. The next question, we have carbon monoxide again. Monoxide, so there is just one carbon and one oxygen. It's not carbon dioxide, that is with 2 oxygens. So carbon monoxide comes from where? It comes from incomplete combustion. So not enough oxygen will give you 1 oxygen. When you have enough oxygen, you get the carbon dioxide when you have complete combustion. So this is incomplete combustion. What are you burning? You are burning fossil fuels, and these fossil fuels, when they burn incompletely, they will give you carbon monoxide. Now, it's also stated in the syllabus that this must be carbon containing fossil fuels. So we got to be very careful about our use of English. We have to follow the syllabus. So the fossil fuels must contain carbon. When they burn incompletely, we will get carbon monoxide. Why is pollution of the air by carbon monoxide harmful? Because we talk about carbon monoxide, we don't really need to use the formula. We can just use the name, but we know it's 1 carbon and 1 oxygen. So carbon monoxide is toxic, or you can say it's a poisonous gas. It can kill people because it's toxic and poisonous. Question number 4, we have air. Air is a mixture of gases. This air is an English word. It's the air that we are breathing in. We have 79% of gas B, so a lot of these, a lot of these. Technically speaking, it should be 78% in dry air and 21% of the other gas. As we know from our syllabus, we know that this huge composition of the air is actually nitrogen gas, because they want the name, they don't want the formula, they want the name. And then gas, oops, sorry, I got it the other way around. Gas B is the one that you have a lot. Gas B, you have a lot, that is nitrogen. Oxygen is the one that is present in around 21% there. Now suggest why the amount of water vapor in the air is not constant. We know water vapor is just H2O in the gaseous state. You can also call it steam. That is because people will respire. So living things consist of vegetables, plants as well as animals. So we know that humans and animals will respire. So animals and humans will respire. Respiration is your biology topic, and when you respire, you will burn carbohydrates, you will burn sugar with the use of oxygen, and you will release carbon dioxide and water. So we'll produce water vapor, will produce water or water vapor. But then we also know that plants will do photosynthesis. So plants are living things as well. So plants will undergo photosynthesis. And when they do photosynthesis, they will use water vapor. They will use up water vapor, and they will combine that with carbon dioxide to produce sugar, and also the other one, oxygen gas, which we breathe in. Okay, that is the very reason why water vapor in the air is not constant, because they get we produce them, they get used up by the plants, but depending on how much plants you have in the atmosphere around you, you could have more or lesser water vapor in the air composition. Now the next thing is name a pollutant gas that may be found in air. State the source of these gas. There were many pollutants. There were 4 pollutants as stated in the syllabus: carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, methane, as well as gases from burning plastics. You can give the name of these things, where are they coming from, and why are they harmful. Any of these would be alright for this particular question. I think I'm just going to choose methane, for example, because we already talked about carbon monoxide coming from incomplete combustion of carbon-containing fossil fuels in the previous question. So carbon monoxide, incomplete combustion, carbon-containing fossil fuels. Carbon dioxide comes from burning or complete combustion of carbon-containing fossil fuels. You could get the gases from burning plastics, and you'll get toxic gases from burning plastics. And this is methane. Where does methane come from? Methane comes from the decay of vegetables. So this is from the decay of vegetable matter, or just the decay of vegetables. But also but you also get it from the gases, the waste gases, when you have a lot of animals. So waste gases from the digestion in animals. So we talked about this earlier, so I'm not going to elaborate on this. We're just going to move on. Could be any one of those pollutants that we had covered previously. This is the last question in this work 2. This is about fuel cells. What is very important in fuel cell is these are your fuel. These are your fuel. Okay, there are two fuel. Hydrogen exists as diatomic molecule. As you know, hydrogen, diatomic molecule, dot and cross diagram. Oxygen is in group 6. They will want to share 2 out of the 6 valence electrons for forming covalent bonds. This is as stated in the year 9 syllabus when you did your dot and cross. You also have learned exothermic reaction, that is H2 plus O2 that will burn to give you H2O. We learned about balancing equations, 2 hydrogen molecule combined with 1 oxygen molecule to give you 2 water molecule that cannot change the formula of water. Is oxygen 1 cross 1 dot hydrogen, 1 cross 1 dot hydrogen. Oxygen still have 4 more electrons like that, so that is water molecule there, the dot and cross, as well as the display formula just showing you the bond there. Now this thing here is a gas, gaseous hydrogen, gaseous oxygen. You're gonna get liquid water. This is called liquid and it is water. And that thing there is not carbon dioxide, it's not carbon monoxide, it's not methane, it's not a gas from burning plastic. This is not a pollutant, it's a clean energy, and this thing is exothermic. Exothermic reaction means the reaction burning hydrogen and oxygen in forming water releases heat energy to the surrounding. When you release heat energy, your energy conversion comes from heat energy that you release, and this get converted to chemical energy. The heat energy, hang on, it's not, I got it the other way around. Your chemical energy, so you have chemical energy by reacting the 2 chemicals together, and this chemical energy releases heat energy. That is why it's an exothermic reaction, and this get converted to electricity, and that's why we can use it as a fuel cell. Now this thing here, give 1 source for hydrogen, where does it come from? And 1 source for oxygen. So the hydrogen, it comes from the cracking of hydrocarbons. So you will learn more about this in year 11, combined science under organic chemistry. Cracking, C-R-A-C-K-I-N-G, is basically chopping up long chain hydrocarbon into shorter chain, and in doing so you will release hydrogen gas. So we get our hydrogen from there. And where in the world do we get our oxygen from? We get our oxygen from the fractional distillation of liquid air. So the air contains quite a lot of oxygen, around 21%. So what you do is you separate it from the air, you separate it from liquid air by doing fractional distillation there. Last but not least, for a 3-mark question, this is a describe some advantages and disadvantages. So these are plural. Plural means you must have more than 1. I'm going to list down 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages. In terms of the advantages, it's a clean energy. So clean energy with no pollutant. Because only produce water as the byproduct, there is no pollutant being produced when hydrogen and oxygen reacts. So clean energy with no air pollutants, being produced or being formed. So it only forms water, only produces water as hydrogen and oxygen reacts there. In terms of the other advantages, we also know that fuel cells are highly efficient. So in terms of energy efficiency, you don't get a lot of energy loss at all. So that is energy efficient, EFFICIENT. But last but not least, we also have to talk about the disadvantages. So one of the major setback is that it's a very expensive technology. So fuel cells are expensive technology, and that is why it is not very common to find a system that actually uses it. And then most fuel cell require high temperatures to work. So this was all stated in your notes. So we just need to list plural amount of advantages and disadvantages, and therefore this is described. So you cannot just use one word, you cannot just say expensive, you gotta discuss a little bit, I guess. Okay, so that's it really for this work 2 tutorial for environmental chemistry. We talk more about the air pollutants, where they come from, what are their dangers, very specific in the syllabus. Hopefully it's not such a difficult topic for you to understand. They are very factual, so do keep in mind about the words you use and the sources and the dangers of these pollutants. Okay, thank you for watching. Don't forget to click the button on the bottom right to subscribe to my channel. Follow me at ptet.chemistry. There's at ptet.chemistry on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Telegram to get connected. I'll see you in the next tutorial video. Thank you for watching again.